Hi, welcome to this interview. Today I'm in Madrid with Javier. Javier is the partner manager of Santiago Abogados, and we are going to discover something about Spain, the mythical, that sometimes people think about Spain, the mythical place and lovely girls, of course. But there are a lot of things that we can learn also in Spain, especially with someone that has experience besides the law firm, also in the business field. So, Javier, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
And could you just first introduce yourself and say a little bit about Santiago Abogados?
Okay, let's start with Santiago Abogados. Santiago Abogados is a medium-sized law firm according to Spanish standards. We start our activity in year 2003. We are quite focused on business legal advice. So we try to give our clients a full advice in all their needs in the day-to-day business. That's where we think we best do. We do the best.
But you have clients abroad also.
Yes.
That's interesting.
We have a very international. We are a very international focus. We go with our clients abroad, and we offer international clients legal advice in Spain. Our lawyers are quite used to work in international environments. We also have some international lawyers here. We have English, UK lawyers, barrister. We have a Swiss lawyer. We have a Cuban lawyer. But it's part of our culture to be prepared to understand different legal environments and to put together solutions to any client who needs to be in different parts of the world. Yeah.
So it's a kind of your vision not to stay in the border of Spain.
Of course.
But go also outside, because it's usually one of the issues of the people that have law firms that think that they can only be local.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
your vision.
Yeah, our vision basically is that we live in an international world, in a global world. You need to have a vision. That is cannot be just focused on a specific country jurisdiction. That, of course, when we are talking about law, sometimes it's a little bit tricky, because the lawyers are really quite concerned about if I can give advice, what kind of advice can I just provide to our clients. I think this is perhaps a question of how do you understand the profession. My view of the profession is that at the end of the day we are people who need to solve problems to the client, and that means that of course you need to understand very well the law, but you need also to understand very well what the mechanics of the transaction or the contracts are, and that means that a lot of experience is common to the whole of the world. Because it's true that it's a trend that anyone to say, well, I'm special and different. And my personal view is that the fundamentals of transaction, the fundamental of operation, the fundamental of how a corporation works around the world, how the negotiation works, is the same. So I think there's a lot of experience that you can provide to your clients if you have work in a worldwide basis.
Probably people that are watching this interview doesn't know there are some restrictions in terms of advertising in the law business. Of course, I know that Spain is not so restrictive as other countries like Portugal, for example. Yeah, but what are the main restrictions that you have, and what you can do in terms of advertising so you can show a little bit your strength?
Indeed, I mean, there is a very easy legislation according to doing advertising for the lawyer right now. So it is true that it's not very good accepted for the profession. I mean, indeed, recently there was an advertising on TV with a law firm who is doing massive claims against banks, wherever, and it was like a little bit.
Almost like Americans, right?
Yes. I think we're going to that direction.
Okay.
But it's true that I think the restriction is not just legal. It's a restriction that it's more from a kind of what kind of position do you want to have in the market.
Okay.
So there is a lot of ground to the law firms in Spain to decide what kind of advertising want to do. From our perspective, we think, and this is not a question of being different. I mean, I think the question of be effective, be practical. We believe that the best way to sell our brand is related to giving the clients add value. That means to provide them content, to provide them in company formation, coaching, giving them some value. I think it's the best way to increase or to promote your own brand within clients or within potential clients.
So even when you are advertising the structure of the law firm can have other service besides law, like for example accounting.
No, we do not do that.
Auditing or something like that?
No. I mean, our strategy is not just does not pretend to cover all those areas. We are quite focused on legal advice, and with a specifically business oriented. I think what we want to be different is how we do offer our service to the client.
But in general, is it possible to have, for example, a partner that is not a lawyer?
You have to have split the division. Usually it's a little bit tricky. I mean, you can find lawyers and accountants together in the same location, but usually they are different companies. Auditing, that's for sure. There's a clear the split from the legal point of view. You cannot be a lawyer and accountant in the same company, the same assessment. But from what is, as you mentioned, accounting, it's different. It could be some companies offer this kind of mixed service between law, accounting.
It's something that sometimes can be.
It's not our case.
Yeah, and in terms of the lawyer by itself, is training. It comes from the university, like we were speaking in off record. They have a very theoretical way, and then afterwards, what happens?
But you start to learn the profession
by yourself.
By yourself, learning by doing. Now, I think recently
the Bar Association has some.
Yeah, recently has been changed all the process to become a lawyer. So now there is two ways in order to get to become a lawyer. So you can do it a master, kind of again is not practice. It's just theoretically again, and you can also make practice in a law firm and to get to get the title. I think this is a clear weak point from the perspective of the Spanish legal market. I mean, I think we need just to change how the things has to be done. I mean, to be a lawyer is not only to know laws. That of course you need to know law, but I think it is a much complex thing. I mean, there are a lot of soft skills that you need to control. Specifically, if you are giving advice in commercial or corporate issues. If you have to go to corporate, it is very important to have very strong knowledge of the law, of the procedural law. That's for sure. But I think it's also very important to have skills of how you express yourself, to structure your speech, to learn how to negotiate. It's something that is clear lack of formation in that part in all the projects.
Like leadership, team management,
commercial skills. And to be a lawyer.
Project management.
Project management implies a lot of things.
So do you feel that when you get to a client, a commercial client, a corporate client, the client feels more connected if the lawyer does know his business and
Of
does
course.
know his
Of course, it's critical.
same knowledge, the same management knowledge.
Absolutely critical. I think now the client take into consideration a lot if you are able to know how it works, their own business, how works a company, to understand what their problems are, what their needs, is absolutely critical. You cannot give legal advice if you are not able to understand very well.
So in your opinion, do you think that the lawyer in the 21st century should be seen more like a specialist not only in law but also in business?
Sure.
So you can show like both sides, because usually people associate lawyers with always bad things, not preventing.
Yeah, right.
Not preventing.
Right.
So not like being an advisor also, but only like
yeah. I mean, I'm sure that is the way. I mean, is right now. I mean, the client is requesting someone who is able to solve their problems, and that means that you need to understand the mechanics of their own business, and to have a clear vision of a business-oriented service. And I think it's also very important that the client need to feel that you are giving them value. Just not, as mentioned, it's not a question of giving them advice when you have a problem. It's just avoiding problems, to giving them advice that allow him or her just to increase the value of the transaction, and this is absolutely critical for them and for the lawyers if you want just to have business. That's clear.
And you were talking about the soft skills. One of the soft skills that we were mentioning was about team management, management people.
Yeah.
And I saw that here in your law firm, people seem happy, which is very important. Mm-hmm. People seem happy. People seem very motivated, highly motivated. What is your secret?
I mean, I think it's very important to be honest with the people and to be very transparent about what do you expect from them and what are you offering them. That's critical. And I think that this is only part of the this is only the part of a part of the motivation. I mean, there is part of motivation that is in your side. I mean, so I think that the selection is another critical issue, another key issue. You have to be very good in order to select people who likes this profession, because otherwise it could be a nightmare. I mean, this is very, all we know that it's a very pressure, there's a lot of pressure, it's not an easy it's a career. So the selection is very important, because I think you need to be able to identify who is able to be adapted to this kind of environment, and this is something that sometimes comes from the very beginning of your education, and the other part is, of course, trying to be very clear about what the career would be in the law firm. What do you expect from them from the service perspective? What you can offer them from the economical side. And I think it is also very important to be very flexible and to understand exactly what the personal needs are of the people give him. Not everyone has the same personal situation, so trying to find out how to fit all this, the personal need with the corporation of the law firm needs is part of the secret. Not always you can get a successful
team. And how do you feel that usually because you travel a lot also like me, and you see a lot of cultures, and like in Spain and Portugal we have the like we were talking about in off record about lunch, that we have like 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, and in many countries it's impossible. It's impossible. And sometimes we want to capture few things from other cultures to our culture and put inside the company. But do you feel tempted to do that, or do you think that the culture part is something that you have to deal with?
I think that, I think you need to deal with the culture part, that's for sure. But I think at the end of the day, beyond the culture is the person. So that's the magic issue. I mean, there's how to handle different characters, different. Here in the law firm we have Swiss, we have UK lawyers, we have people from the south of Spain, from the north,
different side,
different. So it's everyone is different in that side, and that person everyone. So it is difficult to try to
put in the box.
To put in the box everything. So you need to be flexible in order to allow the difference between the people. At the same time, you have to give a minimum structure from the corporate or the law firm perspective, and it's not easy. I mean, there is not a magical solution.
It's like a puzzle that you have to always try to fit.
And it's not a fixed picture. I mean, this is always is moving. The people is moving. The people is growing from a professional point of view. So. It's a day-to-day work, and it's very difficult to establish a rule and to be attached to that rule forever. So this is, you have to see what you have to do every single day.
And about the competition, because people might not realize, but in Madrid by itself there is 70,000 lawyers. So it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
And I don't know, probably 70% are solo lawyers.
Yes, most of the lawyers are solo practitioners.
So what do you do to stand out of the crowd?
I think it's always to do your best work, and it's not always enough.
Exactly.
But I think what we have tried to figure out is to see where we are offering something different from the rest. So we have tried to define our target. I think we have found a very good point in that part. I mean, we have discovered that we can offer a very good services to big companies that have that need legal advice in day-to-day business. We are competitive in price, we are competitive in services, and our culture as law firm is quite focused to give them a very flexible approach. And that works, that basically works. Of course, it is good also to have specialties, to have products, to have some specific areas where you can provide them a special knowledge. And as mentioned, not only from the legal side, but also for the business side. So we are good to offer in the entertainment industry, we are good in technology, internet, we are good in retail. So we have create different areas in which we can provide them a knowledge, specific knowledge that is needed in their day-to-day business. And a part of that, we have a team that is able to work with them in very quick and available,
and personalized. And well, Madrid looks like a city that is different from all Spain, because it looks like the economy here it's always pumping, and I've been here. I don't know, 2 years ago, and I would go to, on Saturday, I would go to the streets, and everybody was in the streets, everybody was buying things. But I imagine that the crisis always also hit Spain.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about the economy and how people like your clients tend to overcome that crisis?
Well, we have been living a very difficult time here in Spain during the last 7 years. So it's a long period of time.
Cycle.
Yes, whatever. So things have been very tough. I think the Spanish people has adapted very well to the crisis. The companies have to implement very tough measures, especially related to the control of cost and structural cost. And also the companies most of the companies have decided to stand up and to see what's out of their own country. So most of the companies have decided to go abroad and to sell the products, sell the services.
What are the main countries that?
Well, for a question of culture, all Latin countries have been one of the clearer goals. But Europe and Asia is also goals that the Spanish company have tried to reach. And I think I think the efforts has been very, very, very important, but the results also seem very good. So now during these years, the companies has increased his competitiveness. Now I think the Spanish company, the standard Spanish company, is much more prepared than 7 years ago. And this, of course, this has been suffering, but I think at the end of the day, it's good to have now a very, very healthy structure. And
so, what would be your advice to someone come to the Spanish market?
Well, I think it's a very good.
Besides, of course, hiring you.
No, I think it's a very interesting market. If you're selling products and services, we will love to buy products and to spend money. That's true. And now, after the crisis, I think these last 2 months, everything has changed a lot. The situation has improved. So it's a very good place for companies who wants to have a market. So that's a good point. There is another sector that are quite interesting here in Spain. I think renewable energies is a sector that now can improve a lot during the next years. I think tourism is another very good sector. And I think for companies who are focused on technology, there's a very good thing here in Spain. There is there's talent people. I think that you can find talent people for a good price. Mm-hmm. So this is also a very good, probably it's a very good...
and what are the main, I don't want to say problems, but what the main challenge?
Bureaucracy. Bureaucracy.
Okay, we are no doubt from the Mediterranean, so...
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that is a real problem. We need to admit that the bureaucracy in Spain is horrible. License, the timing on getting the license is very complex and does not help at all to the business people. Something that I thought that with the crisis we should improve, but to be honest, it's not a reality.
So in terms of now talking about the legal side. What are the main things that the entrepreneur should be careful about?
Well, first of all, you need to understand if your business is in the regulatory side or is in the business side. Okay. If you are in the regulatory side, you have to be very careful because there is a lot of restriction, there is a lot of normative, there's a lot of process, so that makes the things not easy. Not impossible, but not easy. Probably. If it is the situation, you will need a local partner that is already established in order to have gain all the knowledge. And because sometimes knowledge is not always to know the
Enough.
law,
Yeah.
but to know how the things work, to know who is who within the administration. So this is not an easy knowledge to get. So to come, and from the business side, I think well, it's a quite open market. You have the problems are the same for everyone, and it's very competitive. But this should not be a problem for someone who believes that has a good product and has a good service. And so,
And in terms of, for example, in trademarks, the careful, they have to be careful about that also.
well, I mean, you have to be careful here and everywhere. I mean, you have to.
There is no special care.
No special care. You have to protect very well your brand. You have to protect very well your intellectual property, and that's of course is a must. It is true that Spain has not a very good reputation in piracy, and it's true. It's also true that the last changes in the intellectual property law and criminal code has given much more tools for the right holders. So this is good news for this kind of business. But it's also true that from a cultural point of view, the piracy between users is at least is not rejected from cultural side. I hope that this will change in the near future. But it's it's only related to the specific market, that is related to all the intellectual property.
So, in just finalizing our interview, what would you say to I don't know, maybe your colleagues in other countries that are with a big challenge also, and what they can probably have the possibility to exchange with you or with the Spanish market, or
well, I mean, I think all of us are in the same situation. As mentioned, we are in global market. That means a lot of cross-border transaction. That means that our local clients want to go outside and need legal advice. Of course, we are quite open to establish relationship with law firms in order to have full coverage for our respective clients. So this is it. It's not the future. I mean, it's the present time.
Yeah.
So we are quite open to talk to everyone, to meet people, and to try to find out a good relationship, professional relationship in the near future.
No. Just a final question. What do you do besides law?
Well, I mean, in my case, I have some investment in a form of Spanish Peaks, Cerdo Ibérico. This was an investment that I personally did with a friend of mine, and it's going very well. Not for my efforts, I have to be honest, but it works well. Exactly what I said was, we had very tough years. Okay. Now things is coming.
You just continue believing.
Yeah, believing, investing. Yes, it's important not to stop never to invest and to believe in your project.
So, because you are also an entrepreneur in the other side, what do you think about? Because we were talking about that at lunch. What do you think about the failure?
The failure, I think, is part of your learning. I mean, but it's true that in Spain, as we were talking about that, it's in Spain, and I think it's not only in Spain probably, it's in most part of the world, US apart. There is the people is not prepared to accept the failure in the business side. So it's very difficult for someone who fails a project to be able to have a second opportunity. And this is, I think, is something that at the end of the day make us is sad, because I think we are losing a lot of good people, people who have who have the right to be mistaken. I mean, this is something that should be not the case. But it's true that although there is some modification in the law in order to allow the people to have a second chance, culturally and
that's the point.
It doesn't work. I mean, the people usually does not accept the failure, and it's not good for the business. It's not good for the people. It's not good for our country.
So, final question: in one word, how you define yourself?
One word.
One word.
A professional. 2 words. No, I mean, I'm normal people. Not special. I mean, to be normal, from my point of view, today is a good thing. To be someone who try to do their best, who try to work hard, and try to be honest is to me is be normal. And I think I'm someone that try to be normal.
Javier, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for the interview. So this was an interview from Spain. I hope you enjoyed, and I want to contradict Javier. Javier is not normal; he's a special guy. So I hope you will see you next interview. Bye bye.
Bye.